One thing that I guess comes with trying to be the best you can be in everything you do and striving for excellence is this concept of being burnt out. Um, I know there are certain times, maybe I just get burnt out easily, but I deal with burnout a lot. So for me, I guess my question for you, both of you, and we'll start with Mr. Oshinawa, is how do you deal with burnout? And in answering this question, I would like you to, well, whether you agree or not, but I'm of the opinion that having a bad day or a bad week does not mean that you're not striving for excellence, because we're human and there are going to be days where you just don't feel like doing anything. So in answering this question, how do you deal with burnout? I would like you to address the aspect of having a bad day or having a bad week doesn't mean that you're not striving for excellence. So we'll start with you, Mr. Ashino.
Okay, thank you very much. Two parts to it. First of all, when you're having a burnout, take a break. I've seen burnout turn into depression. Even with the team that I've led, and I force people now because of the kind of job that we do. It is quite, when I say roller coaster, it is on steroids, because you're going like back to back from one campaign to the other. I am managing multiple stakeholders. At some point, I did a stakeholder mapping for one person in my team, and the person would have to talk to like 42 people. And I started asking, okay, how do I cut this down? And as a leader, you must make sure that your people take breaks. Sometimes I force it. You have to go on your leave, one way or the other. And usually after our Black Friday campaigns, as an example, we also make sure that people go on leave, because Black Friday will actually burn you out. Trust me. The website will crash several times during November. So we are preparing for it. So long story short is when you face a burnout, take a break. Take a break and be deliberate in taking such breaks, and so that you can clear your head. And I think it became worsened during the whole lockdown and the whole pandemic era, when we were working from home. When people think working from home is easy, it's actually not easy. We had people lose their minds at some point last year because they were not seeing anybody. You know, you're used to seeing quite a lot of people in your team in every day. At some point, I had to start enforcing the use of videos during meetings, so that we actually see ourselves. You see somebody. Because a meeting that you would have done in 5 minutes, somebody has set up a call of 30 minutes or 1 hour. I could walk up to you to ask the question, and we resolve the issue. But we're having meetings back and forth, and it was really killing people. So we just had said, you know what, just take a break. But the second side of it is also that you must understand that you're on stage. Nobody wants to watch the making of a movie, especially when you're customer facing. Everybody they just want to watch the movie. At the end of the movie, yes, you can show them the making of the movie. But as customer facing people, you must always be on stage. Always. You're having a bad day, it goes through your voice into the phone call that you're making to the customer. You're having a bad day, it goes in the emails that you're sending out. You're having a bad day, it goes into your interaction with everybody in the office. So you must always be on stage. There are times that I've not had good days, but I have a customer meeting. I just assume that I'm on stage and I must perform the best. And you know, the actor does not always die in the movie. So you must, even though you can show the making of the movie, how you did the stunts, but nobody cares. But if you're having burnout, take a break, or else it will lead to depression.
Thank you so much. I agree with everything you've said. Mrs. Demola Adeni.
Okay, thank you. I'll just add to that. And I think I'd like to start from how come you get a burnout, or why do you get a burnout? Most times when you talk about bad days for people, there are many spheres to it. Sometimes a bad day just comes because it's just not your day. Or sometimes a bad day starts creeping up because you're slowly getting burnt out. And what I typically say to my team members when I start noticing those kind of things, I first of all look at their job description, look at their roles. Are they doing too much at that particular point in time? Before I now get to their personal lives, what's happening? Is the COVID getting to you? Because like my brother said, the COVID was a real pressure for everybody, including myself. I mean, imagine going every day to work, you see 15, 20 people, all you see is your family every day. Not that I don't love my family, but you know, life has also moved on to much more than the family unit. You get to live with every other part of the world. So I look at that and then I advise. Because for me, and if I use myself as an example, I try to avoid any incidences of burnout. And what do I do? One of the things, and these are all practical things you must do in your life, get exercises. Let it be periodic, even if it's once a week. Even though as we get older, the advice that you should do it much more. But do that. What does that do for you? Your body is alert. So when something is about to happen, it won't really readily happen because your body is always moving. You haven't left your body static. I mean, that's the best way I can explain because I'm not a doctor. So when you do exercise, then relax. You must have people that you can just be yourself. You know, at work, sometimes what we are trying to do is everybody's trying to be because you don't want anybody to catch you so that, you know, your work must be, you know, everything must, but there must be a place where you can just sit. It could be for some of us, it could be with your spouses. For some of us, it could be with your children. For some of us, it could be with your friends, you know, as much as possible. And then thirdly, I like my brother said, vacations are very good. Vacations are very good, even though some of us tend to take vacations that end up making us even more stressed than, I mean, an average Nigerian travels abroad, maybe spends time shopping. That's not rest. And what I do on my own personal level, I have a time that my me time, it is me. Sometimes family time, sometimes with the children. So it's important, if you have all this, the possibility of getting those burnouts kind of go down, even though, I mean, with COVID, I always say actually everybody was, until everybody now started trying to determine how do I react to this burnout. And for me, for example, I knew that even though meetings could take place from 8 to 9 p.m., I just told myself after 6 p.m., nothing else. You have to go back home, even though you were in the house. You have to change your mood from official to personal, you know. So everybody had to determine what was going to work for them. But basically, when I look at my team members, if I sense the burnout, I tell you, I ask you, everybody knows me, I ask you, your exercises, how is it going? Have you been sitting in one place for all your meetings? Have you been walking around? Right? So I tend to think, yes, for burnout, take your vacation, do your exercises, take a break, and keep good friends, people you can actually bounce things off. Thank you.
Thank you.